Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome back to the Crack Pack. I have done a little bit of decorating, but I haven't done anything really technical. I found these blocks, actually Wook found it, called the Futuristic Armor Plating Block. This is one variant, which I really like. The blue one right here, I guess it's blue. I really like this one also. And then this one is the same. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of like dividing this up, I think I might do one floor all one color and then the next floor a different color, etc. I think that'll look a lot better than having it all mishmashed. Um, I made some more Tinker's tools, and if you know anything about this, look at the modifiers I have on this thing. 7 modifiers. What I did was I used a thaumium binding for this one and the hammer and the pick. And then I used the diamond and gold block, the golden, like the notch apple and diamond block. And then I put the nether star thing on there for another modifier. So I have to figure out exactly how I'm going to configure these, but I mean, they're all really good tools. I used the cobalt and ardite and stuff. That I got from the laser drill. So that is pretty awesome. Speaking of, the cyan focuses far outproduce the yellow focuses. I've got 168 in here right now from this run, but halfway through I switched out the focuses. I put 3 yellow and 3 cyan in there. So what I'm going to do once this thing finishes, and the interesting thing is, you see how the core fuel is really low. I'm generating less RF a tick, so I want to keep this thing full. I think what I'm going to do is we'll set up a pulverizer and a powered furnace down here. We'll put an inlet right above the power tap, and we'll pull all the yellowite out of the ender chest, and we'll blacklist it on the other end so that this thing will always be full of yellowite. We'll see how long it lasts. I think it'll run forever like that. And if it does, then I think we're going to be all set. I'll just let it go. What I've been doing with all of the ores that don't process through machines, I'll get to this in just a minute. I set up the filler. I made my own filler. It's actually right here. There's a new interface on this from the last time I recorded. You don't need glass or bricks or whatever. You actually just set what you want it to do in here, which is pretty nice. But what I'll do is I'll make like a three block thing down here, and I'll go all the way up with an angel block, and then I'll put all the Certus and nether quartz and diamonds and emeralds and stuff in there, and I'll fly to the top, and then I'll just hammer it all the way down. And we'll do that in a future episode because it's really fun, especially when you hit the 3x1 of lapis and it just explodes. It's pretty awesome. So I've been working on the blood magic. I set up my altar right here temporarily. There's a bottleneck right at some point, right? I have this altar. It's a tier 3 altar now. If I hit this altar, you can see I have 10,000 LP in it, and it only holds 10,000. Well, there's an orb. I think the next orb I need to make is, I didn't make the apprentice. I think the magician's is the next one I need to make. I have to have a tier 4 altar before I can make the master. Well, if you notice, this takes 25,000 LP. Well, the altar only holds 10. So typically what you would do is get a couple of people over here with the sacrificial knives, and you would have them prick themselves when you put your gold block in there to make the new orb. And I had considered that. I had also considered, I made regen potions. This heart, if you eat it, will give you 20 hearts back, and every time you go from full to empty, I've got some heart canisters. That's about 4,000 LP. So this is worth 16,000 plus the 10 in here. That would be plenty. But I figured, you know what? I think we can do it a better way. So I got my drum of mob juice up here and the auto spawner, and I made this dagger of sacrifice, which is an iron sword in the blood altar with 3,000 LP. So rather than put the conveyor belts and stuff up here, since this isn't going to be a permanent thing, I brought the filler up. I just I made a box and basically blocked off this area so the spawner cannot spawn anything there. They'll all spawn inside here. Every villager I kill is worth 2,000 LP. So that thing is full. So full. So this, we should be able to do this with no problem. I just killed, you know, I already had a little bit of LP in there. I killed 3 villagers and the thing's full already. So we'll see if I have a gold block. I do. I'm not sure if I actually need to make a new blood orb to upgrade this to a tier 4 altar. Regardless, I'm going to need to line out this layer 1 level down with runes, and I think I actually may need the orb because I have to make a certain thing. I don't think I can make it without the magician's blood orb.
Oh boy, I got my 401k update. Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot to turn Wook off. Hold on a second. So that was interesting. We'll have to ask him about his 401k update later, assuming it comes through in the video. So this is my solution to filling this thing with LP to make a 25,000 LP thing in a altar that only holds 10,000. So I was debating whether or not to just let them keep spawning or just kill them very slowly, and I don't know which I want to do, but I'll just get a few down here, and that will probably do it. So I got my dagger ready. Let me put my gold block in there. We could see that the LP is draining. If I whack one of those guys, see it went up. So I could probably just kill one every few seconds and I'll be good. The altar consumes 20 LP per tick by default. I'm not sure how the other runes of augmented capacity and stuff like that affect it, but you know, I think we'll be okay. So even if I don't need this blood orb to make more runes to upgrade my altar, this will still come in really handy for filling the thing up to make more runes, because it's pretty slow going when you're just pricking yourself with that sacrificial knife. It takes forever because your health only regenerates so fast. Look at that. There we go. We got it. How about that? A brand new, shiny Magician's Blood Orb. And this orb will actually hold, I think it'll hold 25,000. Something like that. So here's what let's do. Let's do that. We'll kill all these guys, and all of that life essence will go into that blood orb. Notice these are one-shot kills because they're close enough to the altar. If it takes more than one, then that means that it's not working. So the altar has 9,000, we have 6,000, and it's continuing to go up. So that is not a bad deal. So I'm going to have to make a bunch more runes. I think the next orb, once we level this thing up, I want to say the Master Blood Orb holds, maybe it's 1,000,000. Yeah, I think that one's 1,000,000. And the Archmage or Archmage, whichever, I think that one's 2,000,000 LP. At that point, we can start using bound weapons and stuff. So I did need the Master Blood Orb. No, I wanted to know how to get one of these. I don't remember what it is. That may be what we have to do. I'm gonna have to reread. Pardon me, I'm not super familiar with this. I think we have to do a ritual of binding with a sword, a bound sword, and then kill something, and then get one of these shards, and then we can make our Master Blood Orb, which will allow us to make more cool stuff, more sigils, different runes, etc. So what have we got in here now? We've got 14,000 LP, which isn't bad. So I'm going to make a bunch more runes, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make enough to go all the way around the altar and see if it'll go ahead and upgrade to a tier 4 without having to do anything special. I'm a couple days ahead on recording. I just wanted to go ahead and do this because I want to, hurry up and get to the higher tier things so I can start attempting to automate it, and then we'll have a lot more LP storage. It's a lot easier to make the runes when you can store more LP. The slates cost 1,000 apiece, so I can fill this up with villagers, drop almost a half a stack of smooth stone in there, and then end up with all the slates I need for a little while. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll be back. Like I said, I'm ahead recording. I've got 2 episodes in the queue to go up. So I do have a little bit of time to work on this. So I'm going to do that, and I'll join you back in, well, you're going to see me in just a second. Hopefully this will be tier 4, and then maybe we'll do some more of this, or maybe I will have found something else to do. Maybe I will have figured out if that reactor will run forever with those focuses in it. So sit tight, I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back everybody. I think I'm ready to do this. I determined we need a weak blood shard, or some of the blood shard, something or other. The way we get this thing is by killing mobs with a bound sword. So we're going to do the ritual of binding right now. I went ahead and I made a bunch of ritual stones, a master ritual stone, the elemental inscription tools, which, I mean, they're easy little recipes. It took me a while to make these because you have to make the reinforced slates, which basically you run the slate through again, like after you run the smooth stone to get the slate, it's 1,000 LP. You run this again, it takes 2,000 LP. You need 4 of them for 4 ritual stones. So I was basically just filling this thing up, killing villagers, filling it up, making some runes, and then going away. I got my LP for my personal network it's above 100,000. We're going to need a little LP to do this. I actually did have to make this apprentice blood orb because certain recipes require this blood orb or that blood orb. You can't just have this one supersede. We also had to make a weak activation crystal, which is pretty easy recipe. So I think that we can do this, and then I'll set up my tier 4 altar somewhere else. That will allow me to make other things, other inscription tools, and it will also allow me to hold more LP in the altar so I can make like a stack of slates at a time or whatever. So we need to go up here. I've already got this set up a little bit. And hopefully I remember the order to put these things in. So the Master Ritual Stone goes in the middle, and then we put regular ones all around, and then behind them they go too high. This is the easy part. Okay, so once we do that, I believe, which one is this one? That's water. I think water goes on these 4 in the cardinal directions. I think earth goes on the diagonals. And then the fire goes on the bottom one everywhere there's water. And then the air goes on the remaining 4 on the ground. Right? I think so. So you have to feed LP into this thing, and I don't remember if you do it with the weak activation crystal. I think you do. So let's see our LP again, 138125. If we hit that a couple times, it didn't go anywhere. Let's hit it with the blood orb. That didn't do anything. Okay, there we go. So we got some redness. You see we just drained probably about 50,000 LP. Something like that. So if we take a diamond sword and drop it on it, we're going to have lightning and fire. And then we should end up with a bound sword in a minute. There's a lot of lightning and fire. There we go, look at that. So I'm going to leave those things burning for now because they look pretty cool. You notice this thing is a ball in your hand. If you right click it, shift right click it, it turns into a sword which you can use. Every time you use it, it actually drains LP from your network. So we'll go down to the bottom. Actually, what we could do is... I forgot I turned this off. I put torches a couple blocks above it, and it hasn't turned into dirt yet. So I guess maybe it's direct sunlight, or maybe it's a certain light level that's higher than what I've got. There's a ravine over here. If we look at our life points, we've got about 73,000. If I can find something to kill. It's not a very powerful weapon, honestly. Oh, there's a TNT spawner. It's not a very powerful weapon, but you have to kill the mobs to get the weak blood shard, and we just got one. That's awesome. So I think that is... I don't really see... I think I see a spider. No. That was some kind of Thaumcraft stuff. And we got another one. That's good, okay. So now we'll go upstairs. What we have to do is, and I'm not going to put this on the altar yet, basically we take stone with this and regular smooth stone, and we get large bloodstone bricks. So when we make our 4th ring for the altar, I'm going to have to make a bunch more runes. Actually, no, I already made them. So we can just pop these up there right now. Let me find some stone. And then I'll do that. And I think you get, what, 32 of them or something? Yeah. So I believe I can just set these up here. And you can use smooth stone or stone brick for these pillars. Notice these are 3 high. They're basically the same level as that one. I think this one goes where the glass is. I don't believe it matters if blocks are in the way. I guess we'll find out in just a second. So if we hit that... It's still tier 3. It still says tier 3, so I'm not sure what I did wrong, but anyhow, well, I'll figure that out a little later. It's not that big of a deal. I do have these, so I can do a little bit of research and figure it out. What I want to do real quick before I end the episode is get some item ducks and some yellowite. and probably a chest. We'll make it gold. I'm going to probably make another pulverizer and powered furnace, since this isn't the final resting place for those. I started changing out the blocks on the floor too. I think I like it a lot better if every level was the same block. What I want to do is work this out so that we're going to need to put our ports over here. We're probably going to have some ender juice run out. But that's okay. Come on, server. Wow. I don't know what those guys are doing over there, but I'm not a fan. So what I want to do is put the access ports over here. I want to suck the yellowite out of this chest, block it off on the other end, and continuously feed this reactor with processed yellowite. So let's put our glass back over here if we can do it without getting teleported somewhere. I don't use the hover on this. This jetpack is actually pretty slow. So let's do this. We'll do a redstone furnace and we'll just put it on here so that it feeds directly into the access port. Maybe I should put a conduit or an item duct in between so that I can check on the status, because I won't be able to interact with that if I just put the furnace next to it. So is that a graphic thing or what? I hope that's just a graphical bug. It's still green, so I'm going to assume it is. We're going to make this out on the left and in on the right. We'll do the pulverizer over here. And these guys don't use a lot of power, so I'm not really worried about that. And we will route our item duct over here like this. We're going to have to make this one in on the right, out on the left. And we're going to need a servo in here. We're going to whitelist, we're going to pull, and it's going to be yellowite. We'll need another iron duct here. And then we'll put our other access port with the output of the cyanite right here. Or now we'll move it down a block. I couldn't even see that glass. Oh, it broke because the thing was broken. Okay. So that will be eject. We'll put some item ducts here. If I can get out of here, we'll just run them like that. We're going to have to put a servo on that one too. And I think that we may need to blacklist it on there also. So we will whitelist yellowite. That one, we could blacklist yellowite, but I think it'll be okay. We don't want this to back up, so it probably won't anyway because it's an ender chest. But I want the yellowite to go to the pulverizer before it goes here, so that should work just fine. So let's put it in there. It should go to the pulverizer. If not, it'll just get stuck in a loop. No, it went upstairs, didn't it? Damn it. We're going to have to blacklist it on the other side, of course. And I already processed the rest of it, so we'll blacklist it over here. So we pop it in there. It should now be in the pulverizer. Yep, there it is. Okay. So this may be a problem. If this backs up and then this fills up with yellowite, that may present a problem. But we'll see how it goes, and we'll check on it next time. I think it'll be okay for a little while. I was actually going to put a chest down there so that the excess processed yellorium could go in it. Well, I guess we're going to have to put it on this side. Just so if this thing fills up, the excess won't block all this up. So let's throw, I guess I need to do it over here. I usually do this with the AE, but I'm trying something a little different just because I want to see if it'll sustain itself. So that should be enough RF to at least run the pulverizer and stuff once it gets going. Alright, so this is going to be around 49 or 50% full once those other two come through. I'm not going to fill this up anymore. I'm going to let it run with the 3 cyan and 3 laser focuses, and we'll see how much yellorium builds up in excess, or we'll see how fast the reactor runs out of power. I might actually need to fill it up and then start it. But either way, this is what I'm going to try for now, and we'll see how that works. So that'll do it for this episode, guys. It may have gone a little long since I recorded in segments, so I apologize for that. I'll definitely move this blood altar and figure out what I did wrong, and hopefully I'll have it set up before the next episode. So if you know what I did wrong, feel free to leave a comment, though I'll probably figure it out beforehand, but in the off chance, I will appreciate it. Please leave any other comments, questions, or suggestions down below. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.